know, when you're a black man in America, you gotta make something out of nothing, baby. You gotta wiggle, you gotta move, you gotta finesse, you gotta tap in. That part. Gold chains, heads wrapped like a Saudi. Tap in with the lokes. We the black Illuminati. We be posted at Lamert Park, hustling, catching bodies. A dripping OT. Thirsty peaches flew to Saudi. Money schemes, my niggas had dreams of riding Bugattis. Now it's 4-finger ring supreme with kings around me. Watch me turn the metaphysical to physical. It's not just lyrical, it's literal. These guns get rid of you, the spiritual. Spit out, let drip off a nigga lip, but get up in you and rip you up like 100 hollow tips. Bismillah, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammadeen. Had a dream last night on some other shit. Farrakhan and Malcolm X pulled up in the mothership. Talking about UFOs, black kings and queens that was rich as fuck, swimming in pools of gold. But niggas like you don't wanna hear that though. You were descended of one of them snitches or dudes that told the white man about all the fucking Jews and gold. And that's how everybody in the crew got sold. Fucking blabber mouth, I don't like his type. Pull that ratchet out, we tapping in. All these bitch niggas doing is tapping out, tapping out, tapping out, tapping out, tapping out, tapping out. Gold chains, heads wrapped like a Saudi. Tap in with the lokes. We the black Illuminati.
So you see that one? Yeah.
Oh, we back at it.
That's that one, yeah. Back at it again. In the hood entertainment. You feel me?
Night, man.
That part.
Never know what's gonna bring.
Yeah, well, I ain't know if it's in the hood music, in the hood clothing. That's where they go. In the hood entertainment. It's just in the hood entertainment.
It is I, Peace is Divine Family. It's your humble host, Crip Jesus, the Blue God, the author of the Blue Bible. And I got one for you today. I got a deep one for you. I'm taking you further than we ever took you before. This time, it's called the Blue Mosque. I know a lot of people are thinking, he going this far with it? He trying to put the Crip in with the Islam? No. The problem is, man, some of y'all just don't like to admit when you don't know something. The truth is, a lot of you guys who call yourself Muslim, that's cool to be a Muslim, but the question is, are you a Muslim? Are you a Mohammedan? Because that's when it gets real. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with the science I come with. I come with the original real science. I don't come with my opinion or how I feel about it. I give you the real breakdown. A lot of people don't like that. They say, no, I want you to go with the metaphor. I want you to go with what such and such said or the way he said it. But what about the truth? What about the science that these people leave behind and they tell you, look this up or look that up? When you memorize a date or you memorize the name of a war, do you feel like you're doing that on accident or something? Do you feel like you do? You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think any of these prophets or messengers or leaders leave us these dates in times and names just for fun. You feel me? So for those that don't know, the connection between Jesus, bloodline, and the Turks and us as a lost people in North America is made very clear all throughout the Blue Bible. For those that think this is a fake book or who cares if I figure out my Turkish bloodline, what's that gonna mean for me? All that's in here. It means a lot for you. It has a lot more to do with what's going on in West Africa right now with them kicking out the French and them telling us to come on over to Ghana and all that. It's all right here in the Blue Bible. All of it. The stuff about Adam 22, all of this you think this stuff is not connected? It's all connected. The Trail of Tears, the slave trade, what's going on in Africa right now, and what does it have to do with us? Everything. They want you to think we're the people of the Bible, the Bible, the Bible. No. We're talking about trade and commerce and the most wealthiest, most intelligent, most progressive. You feel me? And what they don't want going on is us getting back to the position of the trade. But Before we get all, further in line, I got something I need to show y'all, bro. It got deep today. It really got deep today. And, before I go here and show y'all what I found, I got to show y'all something. I got to teach y'all something before I can even break this down for you. Okay. So, go to key 81 in the 101 of the Quran questions for Moorish Americans. It's 101 questions and answers that you're supposed to master before you even get into that circle Quran. So all these dudes quoting the circle 7 Quran, trying to tell me what it means, what it don't mean, and they don't even know the basic information. So before I break all this down, y'all think I'm just gonna get all this sauce just because? I'm not gonna come here and beg y'all for no money. But what I am gonna beg you to do is to go to my website, okay? And right there, you can go to the contact part, you can get some merchandise, or you can go to the Black Illuminati part, you can learn more about what we got going on here, check some of the videos out or whatever, or you can go to the music section, check some of the music out. And if you feel like it, you can contact me, and I'll tell you my Cash App or whatever. I ain't big tripping. If you want to contact me directly, I'm at Instagram at Holy Crip Jesus, Twitter at Crip Jesus Blue God. But to be real with you, I'd rather you, instead of sending me just some money for donation, buy the Blue Bible. And if you already got one, buy another one. I got a new version for you. And if you already got 2 of them or whatever, download the ebook version and give it to your cousins. Yeah, we got that now too. So that's be down in the description how you can download the ebook version right from riseofthemoors.org. I know y'all heard of Rise of the Moors. Yeah, the ones that was out there with the business. I know y'all heard about the government getting mad at them. They tapped in with the blue God. That's right. Rise of the Moors and Crip Jesus. We banging on y'all like that. So, did y'all know that Dracula was a real person? I'm not talking about the vampire. The story of the vampire is actually based on a real person. Yeah, he used to like to kill a lot of people and drink their blood and all this stuff. The devil's real, y'all. I don't make this stuff up. But the question is, who chopped the head off the devil? Knowledge cipher degree of the 1 through 14, or should I say the 10th degree of the 1 through 14, is about this. It says Muhammad chopped the head off the devil. It says that he told the other Muslims to chop 4 heads off of the devils. Who was the devil? Who was these devils? Is this the same ones in the Quran questions for Moorish Americans? Okay, then. It says, what is the name of the person into whom Jesus was first reincarnated? Wait, hold on. What is the name of the person into whom Jesus was first reincarnated? Now, for those that don't understand the science of reincarnation, it's not as deep as you think. It's a bloodline thing. That's why when you have a certain bloodline, sometimes they like to use the same name over and over. They try to make sure they sleep with the same women. They try to make sure that y'all live in the same area because they're trying to reproduce. That doesn't just mean have babies. That means produce again. They're trying to reproduce their ancestors. They're trying to reincarnate their ancestors. They're trying to make them alive again. So that means when Islam came together, I've been told y'all this is why Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, had to free Bilal, because he was the son of an Abyssinian princess who was forced into slavery. He knew he was the royal blood, and they brought the royal blood in to mate with them and give back birth to these ancient ancestors. That's what the Fatima bloodline in the Shia and the Shiite, in the Al-Bi'at, in the Hassanid. That's what I'm talking about in the Blue Bible. Y'all thought this Bible was about a bunch of Christian stuff? This is the truth, bro. This is the bloodlines, the real bloodlines. We have bloodlines that even the Muslims have to honor. Everybody have to honor. because we are of the royal bloodline of the prophets, bro. We the lost tribe of Jesus.
Oh my God, it's so cozy.
Now the question is, what is the name of the person into whom Jesus was first reincarnated? The answer is Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror. It doesn't say Prophet Muhammad. I want y'all to understand that. In the Blue Bible, for those that got the old version, y'all better tap in. I'll get y'all new version for damn near for the low. If you got the old version, we can try to swap it out, or I can get it to you for the low. That way you had the old version for a collector's item. You can get your money to turn it in for the collector's item, and you can have the new version. The new version got the map and the index. So this is important right here, because in the index we have Muhammad and we have Mohammed, different. So Muhammad says Arab, page 40, 68, 76. Mohammed says Berber, page 44, 64, 70, 73. Now, why is it completely different pages? Why is not Muhammad or Mohammed in the same place? Because Muhammad is an Arab name. It's for the Arab prophet, peace and blessings upon him, and for the Arab warriors and the Arab fighters that were named with that name. Mohammed is the same spelling of it in the African version, though. Different spelling as far as in English, but it's the African pronunciation of it, and it's been around for a long time. Okay? Now, it says Muhammad the Conqueror. Why do they have to put the Conqueror? Why is this to distinguish from the prophet? Key 82. Was Satan to be bound then? Answer: Satan was to be bound in part. So don't come with no fantasy stuff like Satan is all the way gone now. It was in part. Okay? And Key 8, when was the head of Satan taken off? Watch this. So y'all think you're talking about Prophet Muhammad. Okay. The answer is 1453, Byzantine. That's the answer right here. I ain't making this up. That's the answer right here. Key 84, by whom? By Mohammed. Why is it spelled Mohammed? And why is it 1453? Does anybody have the answer? Why is it Mohammed and why is it 1453? The reason it says Mohammed, and the reason why it's way in 1453, because it's talking about a Turkish ruler. It's not talking about the prophet dude that lived in Arabia. It's not talking about just some random black dude you're gonna make up and say, that was us, yeah. No, you gotta get your study on for this. These are the rulers of the East that ran it up for real. And we are related to them. Yes, we are. But before I get into all that, you got to understand the science of how this works. Okay? Now, what is the Blue Mosque? Who built the Blue Mosque? Who is this guy I'm talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll get to you right now. But the first thing I got to do is break down what I'm saying to y'all, because where do I get off just talking about Turks and all that, right? So let's go to the Blue Bible. Let's go to Mohammed, because that's the one that keeps talking about, right? So page 44. right? The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, and his followers, the Mohammedans, were successful in resurrecting the state of Mecca. Hence, they gave the native people back their status as lords with one common language, Arabic. In Europe, this era is called the Dark Ages. For 1,000 years, the economy and the tongue of the African people dominated the planet, from the Philippines to the West Indies. Therefore, Arab culture in its history and expression is African. The followers of Muhammad, peace and blessings upon them, took Egypt back from Rome 600 years after the life of Jesus. They freed the Barbary coast of the Roman pedophiles and the murderers in North Africa. The slaves they freed rose to become the lords of Europe. Those are the ones they call the Moors.
Hey Zeus, we go all the way through. That's what I'm saying. Migo. Hey. It's all hood politics, acknowledge it. These niggas ain't graduate from no colleges in Hollywood. All these rappers selling they soul. Finger in the booty hole, these niggas Marilyn Monroe. Ray pride, gay pride, fuck us up with that. I thought I saw a gang with 6ix9ine, I had to double back. Hold up, look, that's that nigga whack. Damn, that shit was whack. You know real niggas never feel you in the trap. How you say you blood, stab the bloods in the back and give a voice to a fake blood, nigga, that's a rat. And he told on niggas wear the same color flag. And now YG doing videos of drag. You know it's all bad when you listening to rap and you gotta hear a bunch of niggas snitch between the ads. Oh, man. Alright, I told them take all my jewelry, clothes and guns and let me fast for 40 days by my lonely. We the 5% of the 5%, we the only ones. Lord Jamar told Vlad to his face that we the chosen ones. I shouted out Farrakhan right there on no jumper, cuz owe me one. I'm Joseph's son, I'm Mansa Musa. I'm the one that set it up, the driver and the shooter. Crip Jesus make the trap say hallelujah. Rest in peace Raymond Washington, free Larry Hoover. It's all hood politics, acknowledge it. These niggas ain't graduate from no colleges, play ball for no scholarships, read books by Malcolm X. I gotta reach them and teach us what the teachers didn't teach them. The lost tribe of Jesus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We the lost tribe of Jesus. Israel Muslim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm him. Let's go.
And that's why these bloodlines are so important. This ties us with groups of people on a political level. This ties us with major groups of people on an economic level. This ties us. Imagine if everything we wasting our time trying to trade and sell and build here, we could do on a global level just based on who our cousins are. Imagine we start tapping into higher levels of our own DNA just based on us remembering who we really are. That's what I'm here for, to help you remember who you really are. Do you not believe in the teachings of the Blue Mosque? Do you not believe in the teachings of the Blue Bible from the Blue Mosque? If you think I'm making up the Blue Mosque, let me show it to you right now.
Hi everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, The Tales Time. In this video you will see 8 incredible facts about the Blue Mosque. You will also see who built the mosque and when it was completed. Sultan Ahmet Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque, is a historic mosque located in Istanbul, Turkey. It was constructed between 1609 and 1616, during the rule of Ahmed I. The mosque has 5 main domes, 6 minarets, and 8 secondary domes. The upper area is decorated with approximately 20,000 hand-painted glazed ceramic in 60 different tulip patterns. The lower stories are illuminated by 200 stained glass windows. These are some interesting facts about this marvelous architectural design that we would like to share with you. Number 1. Never been called as Blue Mosque by Turks. This mosque has never been called as the Blue Mosque by the Turks, but it is known as the Blue Mosque by many tourists, because of the blue tiles adorns the interior and gives the building its unofficial name. Number 2. Sultan was only 19 when he initiated the construction. Sultan Ahmet I was only 19 years old when he initiated the construction of the mosque. His decision provoked the anger of Ottoman scholars and Ottoman population, because Ottoman sultans had always paid for their mosque with their war booty. Number 3. Architect Mehmed Aga died the same time as Sultan. The architect of the Blue Mosque was Sadefka Mehmed Aga, who became chief imperial architect to the Ottoman court in 1606, and was the last student of architect Sinan. After the construction of mosque was completed, Mehmed Aga died in 1617 at about the same time as his sultan. Number 4. Total cost of the mosque. According to registers of construction expenses, the total cost of the construction of Sultan Ahmet Mosque was over 180 million akses, which originally referred to a silver coin. Number 5. Gold minarets as 6 minarets. According to folklore, an architect misheard the Sultan's request for old minarella, gold minarets, as alt minaras, 6 minarets, at the time a unique feature of the Mosque of the Kaaba in Mecca. When criticized for his presumption, the Sultan then ordered a 7th minaret to be built at the Mecca Mosque. Number 6. It is not only a mosque. The Sultan Ahmet Mosque also included madrasa, a higher educational institution, a hospital, an imarat, a soup kitchen, a primary school, a market and a tomb for the members of the royal family. Many of these buildings were later torn down in the 19th century. Number 7. Only mosque with 6 minarets. The Blue Mosque is the only mosque with 6 minarets in Istanbul. However, Turkey hosts 2 other mosques with 6 minarets. One of them is Hertz Mikdat Mosque in Mersin City, and the other one is Sabancı Merkez Mosque in Adana City. Number 8. Still a working mosque. Although it is one of Istanbul's most popular sites, it is still a working mosque, and is therefore closes for 90 minutes to tourists at each prayer time. According to statements of Ishaq Islalan, Imam of the Blue Mosque, around 20,000 people can worship at the mosque at the same time.
These are the blue gods, the true gods. Come on, bro. Did I just tell you the lost tribe of Jesus? Y'all think I make this stuff up? I'm not even gonna go into the full breakdown, but just for you to understand, even from the more science version, right? If the tribe of Jesus, the bloodline, reincarnates through the bloodline of Prophet Muhammad, now we're talking about Ali. Now we're talking about the Shia. Now we're talking about the Fatimid. Now we're talking about the Hassanid. Why do you think I study all of those? I didn't just start studying them saying, oh, I'm down with the Arabs. See, a lot of y'all think I'm just talking Arab stuff because a lot of y'all are not studied. That's why the Blue Bible has M.U. Muhammad and it has M.O. Muhammad. Both versions are in here. Making a lot of sense. What are y'all doing? Y'all making sense? No. So let's go into that real quick. 18.18 of Moorish literature, Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Ali, the founder. The industrious acts of the Muslims. The industrious acts of the Muslims of Northwest and Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, Hamadites, and Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission of the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in that portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. They originated the beauties of the Alhambra, and to an unpracticed eye, the light relives in fanciful arabesque which covered the walls of the Alhambra, appear to have been sculptured by the hand. Oh man, I'm not even gonna go into all this. The point is, he describes them as being of the Saracen. He understands them being as related to the Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, Moroccan. Why do y'all have a problem seeing that? Alhambra is in what's known today as Spain, which is the Iberian Peninsula. I break down this book on page 108 of the Blue Bible that Iber, my greatest grandfather, those are the real people of the Middle East, not the Hebrews of Abraham, which came later. I break all that down, who the original people of the Middle East are, who the original Turks are, who the original Sultan are, and why these dates are so important. Because this Blue Mosque was actually put here as a symbol and a sign for us. The red represents the time of war. The blue represents a time of peace and tranquility in the true self to tap in and ward off evil spirits. Remember, the Hindus speak of being ruled by a race of blue guys named the Naga tribe. That's us. Don't get it mistaken. The Nagas, the Niggers, the Nigers, that's us, player. The Naga tribe. And we traveled from the east to the west. We originally traveled from the west to the east and back again. But the point is, the color turquoise of the Turks, the color purple that we made in Phoenicia, and we were the only ones with it as the royal Carthaginian Phoenicians. These are the ancient Muslims. These are our ancient ancestors and grandfathers and grandmothers. And we have connection to them in more than one way. What the prophets talk about is an ancient connection. See, but how do we connect to the people who chopped off the head in 1453? What does that have to do with the Blue Mosque? Well, the Blue Mosque was built between 1608 and all that time, the Bible time. Remember when they came out with the Bible, when King James took the word Moor out of the Bible, took the word turban out of the Bible, guess what we had? The Blue Mosque. So whenever they went against us, we had something to come back with. We always fought back. So while they were creating the Black Bible to black us out of history, to entrap us in a black box, we were creating the Blue Mosque. And they already wrote in the Blue Mosque that one day a blue God would come back and resurrect the Blue Bible. And it is no coincidence that I released Blue Bible 2 months ago when the Blue Mosque went back. The Blue Mosque was closed for 6 years. They just opened it back up 2 months ago. That's when me and G-Body decided to release the Blue Bible. This was all set in stone, bro. This was all a plan in motion that's bigger than me, G-Body, or any of the blue gods. This goes back to the Hindu blue gods of the Naga tribe. You know, people like Vishnu and Krishna. You feel what I'm saying? And the point is, I was trying to show y'all, this goes to the Ottoman Turks. Right now, you see 1453 is after 1324. Why does that matter? Because 1324 is when Mansa Musa took his pilgrimage to Mecca. Mansa Musa was a sultan. So we were Turks long ago during the Ottoman Turk Empire, meaning that our global empire just failed with World War I. Explaining to you why was it so important that Noble Drew Ali incorporated and started the Moorish Science Temple. What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? Key 9. 1913 AD. That's when the Ottoman Turk Empire was still last standing. What is the end of the devil's civilization? According to the lessons of the 5%, the Nation of Islam and Nation of Gods and Earths. The end of the devil's civilization is 1914. A lot of people think that means like, oh, that means the devil fell off. No, that means the civilization is one having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, and refinement in the pursuit of happiness. Come on, bro. So they lost that. Why did they lose that in 1914? Why was it so important that we incorporated in 1913? Because in 1914, the Europeans were able to get the Turks out of Europe once and for all and really be their real devilish self. What was the major world event that got the Turks out of Europe that made it so important that we incorporated in 1913 the last of the Turkish Empire? What was the war that got the Ottoman Turk Empire out of power, pushed out of Europe, and so important to what we're talking about here? Y'all got 30 seconds. What was the world event? And the answer is World War I. They want you to believe it's all about the East versus the West and Russia and all that. Russia been our ally. That goes back to the time of the Mongolians and the Turks and all that, bro. It goes back. They were the first ones to convert to Christianity. Constantine was in Constantinople in the East, Anatolia. That was our lands. Those are our homes. Those are, they're white people in those lands, but they were living amongst us. Even Dracula, the devil himself, got his head cut off. He was raised by us, the Muslims. It's the East versus the West. It took a whole world war to take us down. Don't you ever believe that fake soft slave story. We the Turkish gods. Or the mysteries of the Blue Mosque. Me and G-Bite gonna be releasing the mysteries of the Blue Mosque probably a little like next year. I don't know if y'all ready for it this year. I still need more of y'all to get in tune with the Blue Bible. Okay? Because a lot of y'all like, oh, y'all ready? But do you really understand it? Okay? Because this is the stuff I'm breaking down in the Blue Bible, just in case y'all didn't get the gullah gullah geechee geechee.
They also, when they tell you the founding of this country, they tell you about Jamestown. And you think that the country was founded with the British in Jamestown, but we know that the conquistadores, the Spanish, were here before the British. And they established St. Helena in South Carolina, 1566. And it was overrun by the British. And records are now showing that there were hundreds of these Muslim Morescos who were living in St. Helena. And instead of submitting to the British, they went into the interior. And they mixed with the native people, all in the Carolina areas, intermarried with the people, and they settled into the interior. In 1586, the English pirate, Sir Francis Drake, commanded 30 English ships, and they made a daring raid on Brazil, and they liberated 400 Portuguese and Spanish prisoners. Amongst them is reported that 300 or more were Muslims, Morescos. Francis Drake carried his ships to America, and history also tells us that 200 of these people were left on the shore, and the British citizens who wanted to return, they were tired of America, they wanted to return, they went with Francis Drake, and these people landed in America, went up into the mountains, and they met the other ones. These Morescos they are called Melungeons. And they met this other group, and they settled and they intermingled with the native populations living in the Carolinas, living in Georgia, all in the interior area. And they called themselves Portuguese. Anytime you see them, they will call themselves Portuguese. We used to say Geechee. So if you Afro-American, part of my family, maybe many people, you have somebody in the family say, you're light-skinned Geechee. Okay, it's like this is a group of people that's known in America, especially in the South. They're known. But where did they come from? A startling research just done within the last few years by Brent Kennedy, who was one of these Melungeons. He found out he had this disease, sarcoidosis, a terrible disease. And when he checked out this disease, he found out that the only people who have this disease are the people who live along the Mediterranean. The Spanish, the Portuguese, Sicilians, Moroccans, Libyans, Turkish. These are the people who have this disease. And they checked it genetically to these groups. And so when he checked out history more, and he was given a grant to check out history, he found out that in the mid-1600s, there were people living amongst the Powhatans and related tribes of Eastern Virginia and North Carolina who were described as dark like Indians, but called Portuguese. The similar people in South Carolina called themselves Turks. The early 17th century Powhatan Indian description of heaven is nearly word for word like the description found in the Quran itself. In 1784, Tennessee Governor John Sevier records an encounter with people in the western North Carolina with dark skin, reddish brown complexions. They were supposed to be of Moorish descent, he said, of Moorish descent. In eastern Tennessee in the late 1700s, Jonathan Swift, an Englishman, married a Melungeon woman and utilized Melungeon men in his own silver mining operation. And his dark-skinned companions were known as Mecca Indians. And when they described these people, they said these people were really good with silver crafts. They were crafts, and this is what coming out of Spain. The Muslims were the crafts artisans. They were really good artisans, and they said they used to fall down in prayer on the ground a number of times during the day facing east. This is in America. And Qurans have been found, information has been found. It's being unearthed to show the presence of these people. And so, to come to a conclusion, what is now coming to the surface is that anybody coming from the southeastern part of the United States, whether you consider yourself white, black, Portuguese, Geechee, mixed, Indian, whatever you think you are, that if your last name, there's a lot of names, but the most famous ones, if your last name is Adams, Adkins, Bell, Bennett, Berry, Bowling, Chavis, Coleman, Collins, Gibson, Goins, Hall, Jackson, Lopez, Moore, Mullins, Nash, Robinson, Sexton, and Williams. If you have any one of those names, then more than likely you're a Melungeon. This is crucial information. This is white Americans too. So what that means is that these people are tied into Muslims, that in their background are Morescos, Melungeons coming out of Spain, hiding their identity and becoming part of America. And proof has come to us that Nancy Hanks, the mother of Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, was a Melungeon. That is definite. And so you may be saying the President of the United States was a Muslim, or you got a Muslim family. Abraham Lincoln. This is critical information, which is now being put together and coming to the light.
That's cool about Abraham Lincoln and all that, but don't never let the ism of race blind you. That's when it becomes racism. So just because Abraham Lincoln was Melungeon, which you can kind of tell by looking at him if you really want to be 100, and that's probably what opened the door for him. But that is, I mean, let me stop even faking like I don't know. That's what opened the door for him to do the negotiation with the Moors. He still was playing on the fence, trying to please both sides, which led to a lot of decisions and a lot of his attempts to deport the real Moors. So anyway, the point here is my great-grandfather is Melungeon. But the Blue Bible doesn't talk about the Melungeon because that's for the mysteries of the Blue Mosque. So for those of y'all that think you just got the Blue Bible, you know everything. No, 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 no. This is going to be a 3-part series, man. You got the Blue Bible. That's revealing Jesus' bloodline, which came through the gangs of North America. Could y'all believe that? Then you got the mysteries of the Blue Mosque. That goes even, woo, that's for the Islam side of it, right? That's from Prophet Ali. Then you have a complete history of the Black Illuminati. Y'all not ready for that one. We'll talk about that later. But in the meantime, let me give y'all what y'all came for. Y'all know who I am.
Oh my God, it's so cozy.
Now, a lot of people think I get cocky when I'm talking about being Geechee. I think I everything, but the brother just explained to you, plain and simple. I never met that man a day in my life. He just told you we come from the secret hidden bloodline, straight from the royal tribes of not only Jerusalem, but the whole entire Middle Africa, the whole Moorish background. Yeah, we are the ancient Moor, ancient Hebrew, ancient all that. Yeah, left around. But the thing is, my great grandfather that was Melungeon, I don't know if he came here voluntarily or if he was forced, and it really does, or if he was dropped off on the ship by Drake and them. It really doesn't matter because he was part of the Geechee tribe, meaning that he was mixed in with a bunch of other people who were, even if he specifically wasn't. And our last name, Rivers, is one of the most popular names of the Geechees coming from South Carolina down to Florida. It's no mistake. It's no coincidence that all the other Crips I initiated while I was in prison, they all had families that ended up fitting into this framework of the Arkansas, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina Gold Rush, Geechee, real nigga, Geechee Supreme family, realest niggas ever existed. If you don't got your Blue Bible, get your Blue Bible, go to page 83. Okay, hold on. Get your Blue Bible and go to the index. That's what's going to make it so pretty for you. Yeah, go to the index. Go to the index and look up what that brother said. Because he said a lot of words, right? But the one word that stood out for me was he said the Geechee. I said, what? Did Cud just give the historical scientific breakdown of the approximate perfection of the Geechee? Yes, he did. Real Geechees, nigga. In the index of the Blue Bible, it says Geechee is page 83 through 84. So you got to read both of them. Y'all ready? Okay, hold on. Let's turn some music on. Let's get deep. Let's get deep into the future. Y'all ready? The Blue Bible. Elijah Muhammad. Hold on. Elijah Muhammad was not from the Midwest. He was from Georgia. The Ogeechee River in Georgia was the headquarters for another society known as Gullah Geechee. I, Crip Jesus, Shabaka L. Rivers, am a descendant of the Gullah Geechee. My family name is not a slave name. It is a French name passed down to us from the Geechee. All my life, I was told our French name was Creole, but my grandfather explained to me that his mother was Creole, not his father. His story says the Gullah Geechee are descendants of African slaves. My story, which is the one given to me by my grandfather, says my great-grandfather was a child of Gaul. The people of Gaul are children of the Egyptian princess Merit Aten, daughter of Pharaoh Akhenaton. After the fall of Tut Ankh Aman, her family sailed to Portugal. The name Portugal means port of Gaul or port of the Gala. We are descendants of the Oromo, people known as the Gala in East Africa. Oh, so Portuguese, Geechee, is the same thing as like Gala. Oh, like Jeezy. Like Jaja. Oh my God. We been knew we was the guys. Check it out. We named the lands Iberia after our greatest grandfather, Iber. In the Bible, his name is spelled Eber, right? So Iber is I-B-E-R. So my name comes from that. So my name is the R-I. You put the R on the front, I-B-E-R. Put the S on the end to make it plural. The R makes it masculine, like Ra, as opposed to La. Now, the Iber, it interchanges in the Latin between the Spanish and the other types of Latin. So it goes Iber or Iver. The B and the V can be interchangeable. So river, La Riviera, right? Now, in the Bible, his name is spelled Eber. From his name came the term Arab. In the Quran, he is referred to as Prophet Hud. So we're the original Arabs, nigga. We're the true Arabs. So that doesn't mean I'm against the other Arabs. I'm saying we are one with them. Stop trying to separate them, bro. We come from the middle of the earth. We were the first people to be diverse. We got 16 shades, man. The area we landed our ships is today called Portugal. From there, we spread to Ireland and Scotland, where our culture is called Gaelic, etc. Queen Elizabeth was not Gaelic. She was German. Her true name was Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. The Rivers family is the La Rivieres of Normandy. We are Norman. In the far north, our pirates were called Vikings. After the Norman conquest of 1066, our names entered Britain and the English culture. That's facts too. Go look it up. When they dug up the bodies of the Vikings, they found Arabic written on their body armor, and a lot of their hairstyles was like dreads and braids, but it wasn't just a quote unquote black thing. They were Moorish. They were a mixture. Now, the word Geechee is short for Ogeechee River in Georgia. That is where we settled in North America. We joined the Mississippian civilization that built cities called chieftains and pyramids called mounds in North America. Mississippian. Man, real ancient, bro. Real ancient. These are the mysteries of the Blue Mosque. Let's go. Melungeon. That's the same Melungeon he was talking about in Brent Kennedy. In April 1995, he flew to Istanbul and wrote a book showing the hundreds of captured Ottoman sailors that were dumped on the shores of North Carolina by Sir Francis Drake in the 16th century. And I want y'all to know that the name Drake is short for Dracula. So yes, he was the devil too. Dracula is the son of the devil. So I don't know about this Drake rapper dude, but yeah, these are both the devils. I don't care about anybody else. Y'all saying, oh, the white man, the devil, that's cool. The white man, not the devil, he is the devil. These two dudes are actually literally the devil. They're written down in his story as the devils. One gets his head chopped off by Jesus reincarnated as Muhammad the Conqueror, 1453. And then his descendants go on to build the Blue Mosque. And yeah, they get into a rumble with the English that's going against the Spanish and the Turks. And the Spanish at that time, still Moors, even though they Spanish, see, this is when it gets a little tricky. So this is when he's kidnapping just in the name of Albion. He didn't call it New England. He named it New Albion. I'm talking about Sir Francis Drake, but we're going to get there. I want to show y'all where North Carolina is. Can y'all see that? Now look at the top right there is North Carolina, and then you come right there is South Carolina, and then it's Georgia, and then it's Florida. That's the Gullah Geechee area. So you see why we're right there? All of us were now you see why Prophet Noble Drew Ali is dressing like a Turk and all that. This is real life. It's not something he read in the book. But did he get it over here? No, he flew to Egypt. That's how he became a noble. So you still got to connect with Africa. This is all real. This is not fake. The Gullah Geechee bloodline is the bloodline that the prophet is trying to teach you about. The G is G because in English, but if you think about it, it's really Ja. So it's Ja Allah, God Allah. The Moore Sundry Act of 1790 was a 1790 advisory resolution passed by South Carolina House of Representatives, clarifying the status of free subjects of the Sultan of Morocco, Mohammed bin Abdallah. See how that's spelled? It's not spelled Abdullah. It's not spelled Muhammad. It's spelled Mohammed bin Abdallah. Right? That's the African way you spell it, like a Moor and Allah and all that. Yeah, pay attention. The resolution offered the opinion that free citizens of Morocco were not subject to laws governing blacks and slaves. So the ones that were dropped off by Sir Francis Drake were dropped off in the 1500s. They've been mixed in. So they're trying to separate themselves from them. This is proven that you couldn't really tell the difference. The free Moors, Francis, Daniel, Haman, and Samuel, petitioned on behalf of themselves and their wives, Fatima, Flora, Sarah, and Clorinda. They explained how some years ago, while fighting in defense of their country, they and their wives were captured and made prisoners of war by an African king. After this, a certain Captain Clark had them delivered to him, promising they would be redeemed by the Moroccan ambassador residing in England and returned to their country. Instead, he transported them to South Carolina and sold them for slaves. Since then, by the greatest industry, they purchased freedom from their respective masters. They requested that as free-born subjects of a prince in alliance with the U.S., that they should not be considered subject to a state law then in force, known as the Negro Law. If they be found guilty of any crime or misdemeanor, they would receive a fair trial by lawful jury. The matter was referred to a committee consisting of Justice John Margaret, blah, 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 General. Okay, the point is, this is real Moorish science right here. These are 4 people who were real Moors fighting in defense of the Moroccan Empire and got tricked by a dude that they were going to be, they were kidnapped during war. So the African king that kidnapped them sold them to a dude who told them he was going to free them. He was going to take them to the Moroccan ambassador, and that was going to take them to the Sultan and free them. But instead, he took them to South Carolina and sold them as slaves. So they did what they had to do to get their freedom. And now they go into the court saying, look, we're not born in slavery. We're not them. We're really like coming from the Moroccan Empire. But it still goes to show you couldn't tell no difference. And it goes to show also there was other Moors around there. This is why they knew what they were talking about the U.S. being in agreement and in concert with the Moroccan Empire. You feel what I'm saying? That's not made up. That's not fake. That's real. That's that high level Black Illuminati shit right there. You know, when you're a black man in America, you gotta make something out of nothing, baby. You gotta wiggle, you gotta move, you gotta finesse, you gotta tap in. That part. Gold chains, heads wrapped like a Saudi, tap in with the lokes. We the Black Illuminati, we be posted at Leimert Park, hustling, catching bodies. A dripping OT, thirsty peaches flew to Saudi. Money schemes, my niggas had dreams of riding Bugattis. Now it's 4-finger rings supreme with kings around me. Watch me turn the metaphysical to physical. It's not just lyrical, it's literal. These guns get rid of you, this spiritual. Spit out, let drip off a nigga lip, but get up in you and rip you up like 100 hollow tips. Bismillah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammadeen. Had a dream last night on some other shit. Farrakhan and Malcolm X pulled up in the mothership, talking about UFOs, black kings and queens that was rich as fuck, swimming in pools of gold. But niggas like you don't wanna hear that though. You were descended of one of them snitches or dudes that told the white man about all the fucking Jews and gold. And that's how everybody in the crew got sold. Fucking blabber mouth, I don't like his type. Pull that ratchet out, we tapping in. All these bitch niggas doing is tapping out, tapping out, tapping out, tapping out, tapping out, tapping out.
gold chains, heads wrapped like a Saudi. Tap in with the lokes, we the black Illuminati.
No, you see that one? Yeah.
Oh, we
But
back
no,
at it.
That's that one, yeah. Back at it.
Back at
In the
it.
hood
Another
entertainment.
night,
You feel me?
another night, man.
That part.
You never know what's gonna bring.
See, I ain't know if it's in the hood music, in the hood clothing. That's where they go. In the hood
it's
entertainment.
everything.
It's in the hood entertainment.
It's everything, dog.
So the big question is the man, the gangbanger Crip Jesus, sitting here telling you that not only was Moorish science before the one y'all call a prophet, but there were actual Moors dropped off in North Carolina, the same place. Hold on, matter of fact, let me stop even playing with y'all. Let's go back to the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, really for Moorish children. Okay. Where was Noble Drew Ali born? In the state of North Carolina, 1886. What is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality? Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. You just that because you read that in that book and pledged allegiance to that. I'm really that because I'm Gullah Geechee. My grandfather was Melungeon. And for those, and look, let me tell you something. My great grandfather I'm talking about is born in the 1800s. So I don't know if his father got dropped off with Drake and them or not. I don't know. Or if he came independently. I know we came from France, so it's a little different. We're God. But with that being said, we still down with the Sultan.
Sir Francis Drake would be considered a troublesome, villainous pirate by the Spanish. But to the English, he would be a hero. Perhaps a morally flexible hero, but a hero nonetheless. Drake was born in 1540 and would go on to live on a ship with his family, thus beginning his fascination with sailing. At the prime age of 20, Drake would inherit his senior's trading ship through an apprenticeship, and this would facilitate the beginning of his naval expeditions. During the Tudor period, the population was growing, and the desire for adventure and discovery was becoming a well sought after dream. The Queen at the time, Queen Elizabeth I, understood that other countries such as Portugal were establishing profitable trade routes through the Mediterranean and along the coast of Africa. These countries were also capturing slaves and selling them for large returns. Essentially, Queen Elizabeth realised that she was missing out on the party and she wanted her slice of the cake. In 1563, Drake would make his first voyage to the Americas with his second cousin John Hawkins, where they would attack Portuguese towns and ships for loot. By 1568, Drake would contribute to the illicit trading of slaves in the Spanish colonies of the Caribbean. It would be around this time that Drake and Hawkins were attacked by Spanish warships. Both Drake and Hawkins were said to have survived the attack by diving overboard and swimming to safety. Their ships had been all but completely wiped out. Much of their fortune that had been acquired in the last 5 years was either destroyed or claimed back by the Spanish. It was because of this that Drake developed a deep-rooted hatred for the Spanish and for their king, Philip II. He would vow revenge against them at all costs. Although this venture was a colossal failure, it would gain Drake the attention of Queen Elizabeth I, who would enlist him as a privateer. This would grant Drake a license for which to plunder Spanish ships and ultimately earn him his revenge, one attack at a time. Drake would become known as El Drake, meaning the dragon in Spanish. He would be loathed by the Spanish and was so devastating to their supply routes that Philip II would put a £4 million bounty on his life. Drake's most celebrated venture would likely to be his capture of the silver train at Nombre de Dios in March 1573. His crew consisted of many French privateers and also a bevy of African slaves who had escaped the Spanish. Drake and his crew were able to obtain 20 tons of gold and silver, but would need to bury much of this treasure as there was too much for their party to carry. The remaining crew would haul the treasure 18 miles through jungle-covered mountains to where they had left their boats. Much to their dismay, however, the boats had been stolen. They would go on to bury the treasure on the beach and return with Drake's flagship vessel later to collect it. Before leaving, however, Drake would climb a tree in the central mountains of Panama and become the first Englishman to see the Pacific Ocean. Drake would make the proclamation that Englishmen would one day sail this very sea. Funnily enough, Drake would be the first to do so in his later circumnavigation of the globe. By August 1573, Drake returned to England only to find that Queen Elizabeth and the government had signed a peace treaty with King Philip II. Queen Elizabeth would therefore not publicly celebrate Drake's endeavours, despite being commissioned by herself, as she wished to maintain peaceful relations with the Spanish. Though she didn't publicly celebrate Drake, she had no qualms about taking the plunder he had stolen from the Spanish. In 1577, Drake would be chosen by Queen Elizabeth to sail past South America and explore the coast which lay beyond. This would please Drake immensely, as not only would he be able to plunder ships along his journey, but he would also have the opportunity to prey on Spanish vessels. With his ship the Golden Hind, Drake would set sail once more. In 1578, Drake would set his sights on the Pacific Ocean once again, only this time it would be from the deck of his ship, as he had previously envisioned. Drake would set sail along the coast of South America, continuing his vendetta against the Spanish and looting their vessels. Drake claimed to go further north, reaching a point that would be parallel with Vancouver, Canada. However, the cold weather proved to be too great for Drake and his crew, and so they doubled back southward and anchored near what would become San Francisco. Drake took possession of the surrounding area and named it New Albion, in the name of Queen Elizabeth. In September 1580, Drake would return to England with all the loot he had amassed in his travels. While the Spanish despised him for his piracy, Queen Elizabeth would finally recognise Drake officially. Upon entering the Golden Hind, she would grant him a knighthood and a sizable sum of money for his service. Drake would go on to become the mayor of Plymouth in 1581 and was able to organise a water supply system that lasted for 300 years. However, in 1585, Drake would be drafted by Queen Elizabeth to command a fleet of 25 ships when the peace between England and Spain turned sour once more. Drake was ordered to cause as much destruction as possible to Spanish vessels, which, as you know by now, he was more than eager to comply with. In the following years, Drake was given 30 ships to attack a Spanish fleet that was meant to join the Spanish Armada. But Drake proved to be a menace once more, and he stormed a harbour known as Cadiz. He was able to destroy numerous vessels and thousands of supplies, which would have a ripple effect, delaying the Spanish Armada's formation by a whole year. It took Drake a mere 36 hours to accomplish this. Drake would go on to complete his last voyage in 1596, where he would fail to defeat Spanish vessels at San Juan, Puerto Rico. He would go on to catch what was known as the Bloody Flux, now more commonly known as dysentery. It's here that El Drake would die on board. His body was dressed in full armour before he was placed in a coffin and buried at sea near Panama. His body has never been found. As always guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you thought about Drake. Was he a demonic villain that the Spanish said he was? Or was he more of a hero, bringing glory back to England? I know I've made up my mind. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next pirate. Believe me, he's a real heart eater. Until the next time folks.
So I'm about to let you know the big mystery. You still gotta go get the book though if you really want to understand it. It's 2 Muhammads. It's 2 Draculas. And guess what the letter? Hold on, break that down. So remember, in the circle 7, this is not the circle 7. This is the questions for the circle 7. This is why a lot of people that got the circle 7 don't even understand. That's why you got people like, I ain't even gonna say his name. He over there talking about Jesus means the devil. Like, bro, stop calling yourself a scientist if you don't know the basic science. Jesus means justice, brother. Let me go to key 36. What does the name Jesus mean? Answer: Jesus means justice. Now, if you go to justice in the 12 jewels, which would be the power degree of the 12 jewels, that be justice, the reward or penalty given according to one's actions. Without justice, we are frozen at 32 degrees in just ice. That's why you got to rise to the 33 and above, all the way 360. You got to melt that ice and turn it back into the sun, God. Now, the point is, It's two Muhammads. It's the Muhammad and the Mohammed. They're both titles. We're not even talking about it just being two different people, but it is two different people. It's the one that's the prophet. It's the one that's the conqueror. Okay. Then you got the two Draculas. One's known as Vlad the Impaler, Vlad the Dracula, and the other one's known as Sir Francis Drake. They both have had their name covered by pop culture. And you also have, they're not ready for this, man, two Ahmads. That's right. It's really three I like to talk about, but that's going too deep. It's three I like, but I'm saying it's a bunch of Ahmads. You know how we do Islam, we keep the name going. So it's two Ahmads at the same time, though. It's one that's the leader of the Moroccan Empire going to the west, to the Americas. It's the other that's the leader of the Turkish Empire going to the east. This is when the Turk identity and the Moorish identity divide. Because if you go to the Blue Bible, you'll see that Sultan goes back all the way to Mansa Musa. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's bound. Let's see. Let's go Mansa Musa. Let's go to the index. Get your Blue Bible. Go to M's. Mansa Musa, page 63, 64, then 87. 63. Okay, yeah, 63. Y'all ready? Let me get the music, man. Let's get deep up in here. Oh, the music already going, huh? Okay. The last paragraph. The most popular descendant of Amos is Mansa Musa. He is the wealthiest man to ever live on the planet Earth. He was the ruler of the Mali Empire. His name translates to Sultan Moses. Of course, the title and culture of a sultan is usually associated with the people known as Turks. In all actuality, the people of Moses gave the Turks their turbans and taught them Islam. So this is when the power shifts. It's almost like when the power shifts for the original Arabs and the Ishmaelites. That's the year of the elephant. That's talked about in here, the difference between the Muhammad and the Mohammed. Then what shifts between the two devils is the first devil was from the East Roman Empire. He was actually raised by the Muslims. The second devil was from the West. They have the same name. Now you have the two Ahmads. The first Ahmad, well, he's actually the second Ahmad, but you get what I'm saying? The Ahmad that you're going to hear about when you press into Google, Sultan Ahmet, is the one who built the Blue Mosque. At a time when they were losing their morale, he chose to build to become the greatest. And the other Ahmad is called Ahmad, Ahmad, Al-Mansur. This Al-Mansur don't just mean the great in Arabic to be arrogant. This was actually, for us, it was our bloodline. The Al-Mansurs go all the way back to Baghdad, throughout Africa, Fez, Morocco, Cairo. Those are the Al-Mansur bloodline, the descendants of the Shias, the real Shias, the Sharif. We're the original Sharif, the direct bloodline of the prophets. So I want y'all to see something, man. Let me share the screen real quick. I want y'all to see, I'm gonna find this letter, but just to show y'all the type of knowledge we're dealing with here with the Black Illuminati, I want y'all to see this letter he had sent to England. So he had an ambassador that went and talked to the English, and this was in the 1600s, around the time when they're putting together the King James Bible and all that. This is right before that. This is when Queen Elizabeth I is still alive. But at the time they're establishing taking the word turban out of the Bible, taking the word more out of the Bible, and they want them to do this. He's not aware of their plan yet. Remember, they ain't really set their plan in motion until 1774. You know, King James' version of the Bible was kind of like the first vision of that. This is right before that. He's the one that kicked off the whole slavery thing. Now, check this out. Relations with Europe. If we go down, Pilgrims attempted to create their country, they got stopped by the Moors, the Moroccan Empire, the Berbers, because their plan had came to fruition. This was northwest of Mexico, northwest Africa. This was the Moroccan Empire. That was the kingdom over there. You understand? So that's why in 1777 he recognized the Pilgrims. That's how they was able to even have a country. And now you get it. Now, what does that have to do with the mysteries of the Blue Mosque? Oh, it has a lot to do with it, bro. They just playing with my presentation. So, you know, I got to hit y'all with the super duper.
Yeah. No breaks. Nigga. Crip Jesus. Amen. Yeah. I woke up in Mecca, looking at the sun, moon, and stars. White man flew to outer space, seeing faces carved in the planets like Mars. The script said they face and lips was like ours. Ours being black men, the black man is God. Arm, leg, arm, head, that spells a lie. Every time they see me, they make a wish I'm a star. No twinkle, twinkle. Yeah. No breaks. Nigga. Crip Jesus. Amen. Yeah. I woke up in Mecca, looking at the sun, moon, and stars. White man flew to outer space, seeing faces carved in the planets like Mars. Description of they face and lips was like ours. Ours being black men, the black man is God. Arm, leg, arm, head, that spells a lie. Every time they see me, they make a wish I'm a star. No twinkle, just your cerebral. No cathedral, bring the truth, Beanie Siegel. Desert Eagle, under the dashiki. Pinky ring, blinking, my money singing high notes. Benjamin Franklin, what y'all thinking? We ain't gon' reign supreme. Real hip hop, like when Wu-Tang made cream. The same year Bloods and Crips showed y'all how to bang. I'm banging on wax, I'm stating these facts. I'm taking you back to a age in rap when you couldn't even rap. If you niggas tried to rap about the shit you niggas rap about now. Cause now these niggas rap without style. All this motherfucking cap, bro, I'm taking it down. And they don't even want no fade, now you turning it down. I'm about to blow this bitch up, bro, I'm counting it down. So take 10 rappers, hit them with 9s with 8 shots each, and 7 of them laid 6 feet deep. Let's go. You got it for 5, I got it for 4, and I got 3 left. So if you cop 2, you can get 1 more. Let's go. I'm so good with mathematics, got leave them asthmatic. Yeah, these niggas is ass backwards. Coward ass rappers, they should not try me. When I die, I wanna die like Muhammad Ali. Looking for me, I be with Mujahid Allah. That's his real name, it's on his ID. Yeah, that's the way it sound when we smoke a whole pound. And laugh at you fake rapping ass, capping ass, no bars, any bars inside the backpack ass rappers. Yeah, that's the way it sound when we smoke a whole pound. And laugh at you fake rapping ass, capping ass, no bars, any bars inside the backpack ass rappers. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the whole entire Geechee. I'm talking about just the Geechee. The ones going from Georgia down Florida and all that. Got a lot of in common with the Cape Verdes and all that. Yes, yes, yes. Ain't stop, won't stop. So if you understand heritage, your reason, and what the mysteries of the Blue Mosque mean, tap in for your Moroccan merchandise. Come on, man. Why it ain't popping up? Hold on. Oh, y'all missing out. I don't know why it's not showing. It is tripping.